So in today's video, we're going to discuss the best way to train when you're looking for fat loss, and also explain why it would be slightly different to depend on whether you are, in a fat loss phase, in a gaining phase, improvement phase, and why I believe it to be different. Now, if you're new to the channel, welcome. My name is Tom Sergi. I press 40 kilograms. No, we're joking. I run the Gorilla Platoon, which is an online physique transformation program where we get results like this. So we'll waste no time and get straight into it. Why would it be different? Well, if you are in a fat loss phase versus a gaining phase, food is limited, right? Food is obviously your supplier of energy that drives performance in the gym. But remember, our main mission is to do what? Either build or at the very least retain tissue. So we must understand that training stimulus is one of the most important factors when it comes to that exact factor during fat loss. So of course I'm going to tell you, and my approach is, if you've seen any of my recent videos, keep food as high as you can for as long as you can, drive your energy balance through cardio, and pull from food later on. Now let's say, for example, you are 14 weeks into a 20 kg drop of a fat loss phase. Your appetite's quite high, food is fairly low at this point, and also cardio is up quite high, so fatigue is also creeping up as well. How should you train in the gym to maximize how much tissue you can retain? So if we look at it like this, most people when they go into the gym to train do the classic 4 sets of 8 to 12, and they'll distribute their intensity across 4 sets. The issue with that is they will probably train at around about 80% consistently across 4 sets, and they'll do a lot of volume. However, the threshold to keep the tissue or to build new tissue is like here, they're training here because they haven't got the capacity to push it up to here because they know they need to do 4 sets. So they break it up across those sets. And obviously, you can't run. It's like saying, let's run 100 meters. Let's run the speed of 100 meters for a 400 meter. You just can't keep it up. You can't sustain that amount. So therefore, they never truly get up to this point. They do a lot here, a lot. And what's this doing? This is burning fuel, specifically glycogen that's come from carbs, which you don't really have. So not only do you not have the capacity to do this load, you're also accumulating a shit ton of fatigue, and you're not where you need to be. If this is the barrier to retain the tissue or build some, you're away from this, right? Because you can't get up there because you're distributing across 4 sets, accumulating fatigue, burning through fuel. You just haven't got the spunk to get through that element. So the way I would ask you, if your goal is to retain as much tissue as possible, is if you're going to train, let's now concentrate. Instead of doing 4 sets of 8 to 12, look to do a top set and a back off set. The top set is going to be anywhere from 6 to 10 repetitions, and it is 0 reps in reserve. You will send it. You will move as much load as possible across that set. So all this junk that you're going to do, you're going to concentrate it, and you're going to send it. You're going to breach past this barrier that was needed, and you're going to cash that stimulus in, which you wouldn't have got if you spread the love across 4 sets. And the analogy I'll use with this is, you probably couldn't love a woman the same way if you spread it across 4 other women. It's like obvious. It's like saying, I've got this child. You can't give, you could give one child or every ounce of your love, but as soon as you got 4, you've got to divide it across 4 children. Obviously, I was one of 4, and I appreciate that. The same goes for the finances. When you got 1 child, of course you can buy loads of fucking presents for it. When you got 4, you got to distribute the love across 4. Got to be fair, right? So the same can go for training stimulus. 1 set. Fucking send it, breach through the barrier to entry. Now, I'm not saying just stop at 1 set. You can then do a back off set, and in which you're going to drop the load by 20%, and then you're going to go for a 12 to 15, and again, you're going to send it as hard and as fast and aggressive as you can. So you've done your 2 sets, you've got max stimulation on the tissue, and you've not burnt through a shit ton of fuel, doing a lot of it's not that it's junk, it's just in this analogy, you haven't got the capacity for volume. When have you got the capacity for volume? When you're in peak bulk and you're sinking 5k calories a day, then you have my blessing. Do as many reps as you possibly want because you've got the capacity. You've got the capacity to recover from it because you're in a massive surplus. You've got the energy to do it in the first place because you're in a massive surplus. So volume is absolutely your friend, but when you're dieting down, intensity over volume is more important, and they're not the same thing. Volume is how much, intensity is how hard. You can't do both when you're dieting down. Unless, of course, you are on the obvious, which most of my viewers, I believe, probably are not. I have never taken it, so I can't coach in that regard anyway. So that would be my approach. Top set, back off set, send it on both, don't do as much volume. And the only time I would say run with 3 sets is if you are on a movement that is very stable, which is not this, which is not an incline dumbbell chest press. That's not stable. You have to max stabilizers here to move the load. You want something that's a machine where the machine will move for as long as you drive force against the handle grips on that machine. That's when you could maybe do a second top set as opposed to a second back off set. And that's the way I would approach it in order to maximize the intensity without really like burying you when it comes to a fatigue, an appetite and a volume standpoint, and the ability to recover from that as well. So if you found that useful, great, subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you tomorrow.